Greetings, people. I just want to clarify a few things regarding child trafficking. Everyone thinks child trafficking is about, stealing children and abusing them and what have you, and that's half of it in the physical realm. Understand that everything happens in the spiritual prior to it happening in the physical. So, to truly understand what child trafficking is, we have to get into the esoteric and the occult, right? Because they're doing magic and they're doing it in the spiritual realm, and then it's happening here on earth. So child trafficking is, I'll give you an example. You have Disney, and Disney has like a little child talent school where Britney Spears and Timberlake and all that go along. And they basically do readings. They get seers and tarot readers to find out the destiny and the gifts that these children have, unbeknownst to the child, because they're just a child. But as they grow up, they're destined to have success in various genres, whether it be music or acting or singing. So what they do is they target these children once they find out what they've got, and this is how it ties into destiny swapping. So they use magic, real heavy stuff, to steal the gifts, the talent, the success, and the destinies of these children. The children grow up and never know, and all sorts of other things happen along the way. If these children are handled correctly, they're just ushered into the system, whereas the other children, they're just they had all their gifts stolen and they're sacrificed. So this is how the sacrificing of children comes into it. So with child trafficking, what they're doing is they're targeting these children with their gifts, and they're selling off the potential or the future gifts and success of these children to organizations, umbrella companies like the Carlyle Group and BlackRock. And this is what they're doing. So these kids, all of a sudden, when they get to 18, 20, that are, divine beings and stars in their own right, they're having all hell break loose, and it's all to do with magic, not knowing that their future was actually supposed to be full of success. So it happens two ways. The child is either sacrificed and the gifts are stolen and given and passed on to someone else, or they have a handler where they are basically programmed or conditioned and put under contract. So at least they live, but the majority of their success and their gains and what have you is given and taken over by these organizations, and they hold them all under contract. So you can imagine with Hollywood that probably 85-90% of them have no idea that they've sold their soul and their creativity, and they've been handled by these elites to keep them in the dark, and they never really accumulate their own success and freedom, because it's so big that some of these stars, with $100 million, that's enough for them to live in the elites, and that's that. But the potential is far greater than 100 million, and the potential for these stars and this talent is not just for monetary success. These stars are supposed to be teaching the young ones and the people, the population, and guiding them through their creativity. But they're blocked because they get under contract, and then they're not able to say and express who they truly are, and as a consequence, the wisdom and information that's supposed to be passed down is totally blocked. Case in point is the COVID and all the stars in Hollywood not having to wear masks and what have you, and they're blocked from saying what they really know and what they really think, because they'll lose everything. they'll lose all their opportunities. So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So child trafficking, as much as it seems like, they're just passing around children, which they are, it goes much deeper in a spiritual sense, because it's the gifts and the spiritual gifts that they're after. And this is how they target these children and pass them around to the highest bidder. So, for example, you might have some wonderful, bright, talented child, and they just basically spy and what's the word? They keep tabs on the child of all his creative or her creative ideas and what they would do in certain situations. And what they do is they take the idea and they blow it up. So they're stealing the talent, they're stealing the success, they're stealing the destiny of that child. So that's a little bit more information to help people understand how the spiritual world connects with the physical. And spiritual warfare is a really real thing, and they've tried to keep it secret for so long, but now it's just the information, they can't stop it from coming out. And what's happening in Hollywood with Sean Puffy Combs or Diddy, it's all coming to a head, because that's what Puffy was doing, was basically, as a producer, as a monopolized asset for the CIA and BlackRock, he was basically committing all these felonies and securing the talent and the energy and the success of all this talent that's coming through. And the only way they can really hold them is through blackmail, because at some point, after so much trauma, and when you figure out the truth, people want to speak up.